Namaste. Thanks for joining me in this session of floor poses. We'll start by coming onto our backs, stretching out on your back. Take a moment to just stretch out through the right side and the left side. And then from here, bend both knees, setting your feet on the floor, just a few inches apart. Rest your arms right alongside your body. Starting with bridge pose. So warming up at first, we'll move in coordination with the breath. So start by emptying your lungs. And as you breathe in, press down through your feet. Inhale, roll the hips up. And then exhale, gently roll the hips down. Breathing in, pressing down through the feet, lifting the hips, filling the lungs. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Hold the breath for a second or two. And then ever so slowly releasing the spine, the hips, all the way down. Exhale, breathe in. Continue this pattern, lifting on the breath in. Lowering on the breath out. Keeping the feet planted, toes are lengthened and grounded, but not gripping. Now you can stay with what I call breathing bridge, lifting and lowering with the breath, or at any point, as the hips lift up, you can stay in the pose. Keep the breath flowing. Arms reach long, fingertips toward the heels. You can even interlace your hands. The idea is to let the shoulder girdle, shoulder blades help support you. So you want to squeeze those blades together, whether the hands are interlaced or not. Pressing into the feet, lifting the hips. As you start to feel the muscles working, the heat, the effort, keep the breath flowing. Breathe right into those areas that are working the hardest. You can always lower back down all the way or part way. Release, relieve the muscles, and then lift back up. Keeping the legs parallel. Bridge pose. Strengthening the whole body, this pose. And then to release the pose, release the hands if they're bound, keeping the arms tucked in close to your body. Let the hips lower. Lengthen the legs. We'll go right into fish pose. Draw in a breath. Legs are long. Arms are tucked under slightly. Press into the elbows, the forearms, as if you're trying to sit up. Lifting the chest, roll the head back, resting on the head, somewhere between the back of the head and the top of the head. Yes, there's a contact point between the floor and the head, but you're not just letting all the weight land there. Using the muscles in the spine to help lift you. Opening the throat, opening that center of expression. And again, keeping the breath flowing. Staying for several breaths. Now to release the pose, just simply roll the head back, down. Release the arms. Now there are supported versions of both those poses. First, supported bridge. If after practicing the self-supporting bridge you want to take a minute or two in the supported bridge, you can set a block underneath your sacrum, not your low back, but the hips, that big wide bone. You'll know. The height of the block can be whatever feels right to you. It can be higher or lower. Just simply resting here. Let the weight of the hips rest down. Resting in this inversion. You can also include resting the legs by lifting the feet up and just letting the legs be in a supported pose where they're not holding you up, but rather you're letting the legs just relax in a position they aren't usually in. And then from there, I'll show the supported fish. Okay. So again, lots of options, but a simple one would be to take a folded blanket and not too high, not too wide, and just lay your shoulder blades right across so that your arms rest above the support. And then if you feel like you need something under your head, you can grab a small pillow. And basically, this is it. Supported fish. It's a nice way to open the chest, promoting just a long, flexible spine. Now from here, we'll transition and come to seated next. Sometimes it's nice to have a little extra support under your pelvis, under your hips in a seated position. You can see it helps to level the pelvis and kind of prevent that habit of rounding. Okay, so from here, actually, we'll use a tie. And I'm going to bring the reins or the tie around both feet, so I have two reins. But just grabbing the tie, both reins with the right hand, bring your left hand behind and exhale. Rotate your spine into a twist. And breathe in and grab the tie with the left hand. Right hand comes behind. And exhale. So going back and forth a couple times. Holding the tie helps to keep our spine long. Very important as you ask the spine to rotate, to lengthen it first. Keeping the back of the head in line with the back body. Our tendency is to drop the head. So, lifting up through the crown and just creating a new habit of keeping your head held high. And finally, one more breath in the spinal twist. And moving towards a seated forward fold. I'm going to grab the tie, one rein in each hand. Separate my heels a bit to roll my thighs inward. In the first several breaths, I'm going to focus on keeping my spine long. Okay, so as I breathe in, I lengthen up. And as I exhale, using my arms, I'm going to draw my torso forward, hinging at the hips. Okay, so the spine stays in its same shape. And each time I breathe in, I'm going to back off a bit, lengthen, and then on the exhale, move into the forward fold. Resist the urge as you draw forward to lead with your nose, your chin. Okay, again, feel the back of the head kind of resting in the same plane as the back body. There's no destination here. We're just observing as we move in and out of the forward fold. Each time you come forward, you're discovering that edge, that place where that's enough, no more stretch. So coming to that edge, your own personal edge, wherever it is, and now transitioning into more of a passive stretch, letting the spine round. Legs are still stretching, spine is rounding. And pause here for several breaths. The arms become passive. You can even grab a block and rest your head. If the block feels very far away from your head, you can create some way to kind of support your head and just relax forward. And every body is going to have a different experience in this. So another option is to put a blanket or something under the knees to modify the stretch in the legs. And stay for as long as you like here in this passive version of the seated forward fold. When you're ready to exit, just walking yourself back up, spine lengthens. There might be an urge to stretch the front of your body a bit. And choose to go into relaxation from here if you like. You can always use the supported fish as a posture for relaxation. Where you set the blanket is going to shift the amount of kind of back bend or front opening, if you will. I notice as I move the blanket down a bit, it's a little more moderate, and that feels right. And when you're ready to complete your practice, back to seated for a moment, showing gratitude. Namaste.